Hey ladies, welcome in. Welcome in. Who is joining me live today? Welcome in. I'm so excited to see you guys. Your girl has been very busy. Okay, I've had a very busy week, but I'm here and I'm happy to be here. So welcome in everyone. Welcome in. It's been an interesting September. I cannot believe it's 3 months till the end of the year. I feel like this year has gone very quickly. I still remember when it was January and I was like September, and September ends next week or so. Oh my gosh. Sorry you guys. It just reminds me that live life, you guys. Live your life. I know I came in here to talk about something else, but make sure that in whatever you're doing, you are living your life, and you are living life unapologetically, because time flies. And you might think that, oh, you have the time to do this and you have the time to do that. But if we are already in September and we are close to the end of the year, when we just started January, 9 months ago, make sure that you're living your life. Make sure that you're living life, having a life that you enjoy. Make sure that time is not just passing you by. Make sure that everything that you do, you're committed and intentional about enjoying it. Because I'll tell you this, and I didn't plan to tell you guys this, it just came up, but I'll tell you this. One of the biggest changes for me in my life, and one of the things that I'm so grateful for, is that I am committed to having the best life experience. It doesn't matter what the situation is. I have decided that I'm going to have a good life and I'm going to enjoy every aspect of it, because at the end of the day, you only have one life to live. So just make sure that you are living the life that you want. You're enjoying your life. You have a kind of lifestyle where if something were to happen to you today, and God forbid you leave the world, you would be proud and feel really grateful that you had the privilege of living the life that you had. That's how you know that you have a great life. Okay? For those of us who are just joining in, welcome in. I'm talking about the importance of having a good life, and that's not the topic for today, by the way, but it just came because I'm like, this is September and time is flying so quickly, and before we know it, 2024 is over. And now we're going to be in 2025. And so it's just making sure that in as much as you have your job, you have your children, you have your husband, whatever it is that you're engaged in, make sure that you are actually enjoying the life that you have. Make sure that it's not just passing you by and you're just going through the motions. And it doesn't mean that you have to be the richest person, to have the most material things, to be able to have a successful life. Yes, that's important. You want your needs met and whatnot. But whatever situation that you find yourself in, try to find the joy, no matter how hard the situation might feel, okay? It is the least that you can do for yourself as you are here on this earth, okay? So that's just a quick word I thought I would put out there. So welcome in ladies, welcome in. For those of you who are just seeing me for the first time, you're welcome. My name is Abby, and I help women in the workplace, have women who are overwhelmed, stressed out, and burned out. I help them have balance, energy, time, money, and success in their lives. Today, we're going to be talking about a very interesting, in fact, it's almost like a reaction video, but I don't know if you guys saw my post. So there was this post about a woman who works with Amazon who quit her job. She was a brain surgeon, okay? She quit her job to become an Amazon associate. Now, from the story, she appeared to be happy, but I was thinking, because I have a sister who's in the medical field, it takes a lot of money, time, effort, resources, dedication to even succeed and become like a surgeon. So if you're somebody that is seeing that and you don't want to quit, then what do you do? Because I feel like many women feel it's either all or nothing. There's no in between. They either feel like I'm either leaving burned out in the corporate world, or I've left the corporate world and started my own business, or I've left to do something else. But there's actually, what if there was actually a spot that was in between? Now, who am I talking to? I'm not talking to women that the corporate world, their career was never that deep for them. I'm not talking to those women. I'm not talking to women who, have other priorities in their life that they no longer want to do that now. Now they want to focus on something else. That's not who I'm talking to. The woman I'm going to be talking to in this training is someone who has spent time, money, resources, and has a desire to move up in her career, but can't, because she feels like she either has to give it all up in order to be able to enjoy her personal life, or she needs to throw away her personal life in order to succeed. So the all or nothing. That's who this video is for. And back to the article. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to link it. I was having issues putting it in the comments because Facebook was like, I'm in Canada, whatever, I can put news articles. But in that, what really caught my attention was this woman who quit said she didn't have family, like she didn't have kids that she had to leave work and go take care of, but it was just the amount of work, because it was during COVID. So it was the amount of work that she was getting, the long hours, and she had no break. And she just dropped her resignation letter. Like the experience was so traumatic for her that she has no desire to ever go back. And she's happy being an Amazon associate. And I'm glad that at least she has happiness, right? Because some people do that and they're still not happy. And those are the people that I'm talking to. What I'm learning now is that, first of all, there are a lot of nuances to how women are experiencing their jobs and their work. But one of the very first things, let's talk a little bit about this whole thing of having so much that you're spending long hours and the only choice that you have is to quit, and that's it. See, one of the reasons and one of the things that I've learned as I talk with women on a daily basis is that there's some of them that tell me that, AB, does it ever end? Because I spent years having a degree, going to school, building my career. It feels unfair that I'm unable to enjoy it as much as I would like. AB, I've tried the stay-at-home thing, and it's just not for me. I want to be there for my kids, but I also know that I have a part of me that wants to be in this professional field that I am. Doesn't mean that I don't get to have that. Why do I have to give it all up? I don't want to. And so, if this feels like you, because one of the very first questions that I ask is, why do you feel like you have to give it all up? Like, what is the problem that you cannot get to an in-between? What is the reason? Because when you're driving a car and you're speeding too fast, you don't just say, oh, I'm speeding too fast, I'm going to crash. That's the only way. I'm going to crash, and that's it. You don't say that. What you do is you slow down gradually, right? You reduce the speed to a point where you can control the car, and then you stop. So why is it that women, professional women in the workplace, especially executive, because I've been talking to a lot of female executives, so you guys, I'm actually the ones I'm talking to right now. Why do you feel like it needs to be crash and burn? I get into the workplace, I rise to the top, I'm going to quit because I'm so burned out, right? There is an in-between. But let's talk a little bit about why that is. See, there are many fears, and I've been listening to you guys. There are many fears that women have about the corporate world, okay? Now, oftentimes, when we are in a position of leadership, when we have people that are reporting to us and we're reporting to other people, this fear is doubled. And if you're someone who, whether you're just entering the corporate world or of course you're a seasoned professional who's been there for years, oftentimes one of the reasons why we feel the way that we feel, that the only way out is to quit when we don't want to, is that we fear that people are going to perceive us in a way that will decelerate our growth, in a way that we would be targeted negatively, in a way that we would be passed over and marginalized if we do certain things and say certain things. Not even say, do certain things. We fear that. Now, what the problem with this, why this is so important that we start to understand that this fear is going on, is that nobody's winning. So when you are living in that fear, what's happening, first of all, is that you are constantly, number one, is that it puts you on the defense. So if you are, again, you're an executive or in management position, and you have this fear that if you advocate or you ask for certain kinds of accommodations to help you manage your workload, if you have a fear that people will perceive you as less competent or people are going to target you as not being serious, the damage that comes from having that fear, again, is that you are going to be acting from a place where you are always on the defense. What does that mean? What does it mean to be always on the defense? What this means is that you are going to be viewing other people like they are threats. And that is what that is going to do physically in your body, is that it's going to trigger your body into a state of fight or flight, which is stress. Now, the thing about stress is that it progresses. So what happens in the long run is that you're having a meeting, a casual conversation, but because you are in that state of everyone is against me, everyone is a threat. Everyone, if I ask for this, they're going to think this. Now, notice I'm not even talking about corporate now. I'm not saying corporate is good or bad. That's not relevant. I'm focusing on what's going on in you physically. Because you're leaving and you view everyone as a threat, you are at every point in time moving yourself physically to deteriorate. You are every single time that you are triggered into a state of stress. I will explain how you will feel when you're triggered into a state of stress. You are deteriorating physically. What do I mean? Let's be specific. I was just having a conversation with a woman. When I say, I don't like to use certain words in my videos, but when I say this woman is killing it in the corporate world, I'm not joking. I'm like, you have achieved this? She's a senior level executive. I don't want to give too much information, but the main thing about her that I was flawed was that she has this go-getter, audacious nature. Like, she's bold, okay? And this woman was telling me that she's been in pain. Like, I don't know, I've been talking to people who have been in pain, but she's been in pain. Go back to that. She's been in pain for quite a number of years. She has an autoimmune disease, and she's about to be diagnosed with another autoimmune disease. So a woman living with 2 autoimmune diseases. For those of you who don't know what an autoimmune disease means, is that, in simple words, is your body starts attacking itself. So your immune system starts to attack itself. And examples of people who have autoimmune diseases are like Selena Gomez, the celebrity. She has lupus, as an example. And you guys see how much struggle she's gone through. The latest I saw of Selena was she was saying that she wouldn't be able to carry a child or something like that. And I don't know if she related it to this disease, but she said she's going to have to get a surrogate. And autoimmune diseases, if they don't take your life, physically, they will rob you of living life. Living life. I've spoken to so many women. Some of them are in physical pain. Excuse me. And they tell me that there is so much pain, when you live through so much pain, that now your whole body has had to numb itself out. It has had to numb itself out just so that you don't feel that pain. Just so that you don't continue to feel that pain. And so I've spoken to many women who are in that shoes. And at first, when I first heard this, like, how did it get to this level? And then I heard the story, and I'm like, that's it. That's it. So back to the fear of not being able to ask for accommodations or flexibility that will help improve your life. What happens is that, again, you're going to start living from a defensive perspective. You're going to be more defensive in the way that you speak, in the way that you act. Your level of anxiety is going to be through the roof. Why? Because you are perceiving, you don't feel safe enough to do that. And when you don't feel safe enough, what that means is physically now, you guys, you are perceiving everyone in the workplace as a threat. Now, I remember when I was growing up and I was, studying and getting my education, and I started working and stuff like that. Before I went through my own transformation. If you guys don't know my story, I lived through years in burnout until it almost took my life. Now, I remember when I was getting into the workplace and I was advancing in my career and I was, moving up, and then I used to have this mindset of, oh, you can't trust anybody. Oh, you can't trust anybody. Oh, everyone's out to get you. Oh, everyone is targeting you. Now, if you had asked me that time, AB, why did you feel that way? I would have given you all the reasons and excuses. But what I didn't know was that in me thinking that way, it doesn't matter whether that was the reality or not. It doesn't matter. But what the main issue was that living life like that caused me to be on the defense, which is what I'm describing to you guys. And because I was on the defense, it triggered me to live in a life where I was feeling stressed pretty much 24/7. Of course, when you are on the defense and living life so triggered, you will find it hard to sleep because you have so much anxiety, your mind is pacing, your mind is racing, you cannot sleep properly, you have to take drugs to sleep. And all of these things add up. Again, notice that I'm not talking about whether the corporate world allowed me to live like this or not. It's not relevant. It's not. Because one of the things that I've learned is you have to decide. It's a decision. When you decide what kind of life that you want, you will get it. You will get it. So let's go back to the women that are if you are in a place where you feel like I have to drop my resignation letter, there's no in between because I'm feeling so burnt out and stressed out. The question that I have for you is, why do you feel there is no in between? Okay, I know you are afraid. If one of the reasons is that you are afraid that if you were to ask for whether it's reductions in your workload, whether it's more flexibility, whatever it is that you need, if you're afraid that just even thinking about asking is going to cause you to be targeted and viewed as someone that is unserious and not worthy of being promoted, the next question that I would ask is feeling that way, is it working for you right now? These are things that you have to answer personally. My job is to show you clarity, but you have to answer it. Because when you start to have that clarity into what it is that I actually want first, it's not working for me, okay, what do you want? And how can you start to get it? Then you can start to make those changes. Okay? Again, one of the things that I've learned about this is that all of the fears that we have about being someone who wants to have a successful career or someone who has a successful career, all of those fears about not feeling safe enough to be able to enjoy having the career that you want, there's always a way out, and it starts with you. So let's use this example of the woman, the brain surgeon that quit and became an Amazon associate. If that's you, where you've spent time, money, resources, energy to build a career that it's pretty much a brain surgeon, are you kidding? But even if it's not a brain surgeon, but you've built a career for yourself and you don't want to quit. And you don't want to quit because you feel like this is something that is yours and you deserve to have it, and you deserve to have a successful career where that is not draining your life, where you feel like you have to either sacrifice one, which is it, or sacrifice the other, which is your personal life. Of course, if you are sacrificing your personal life, you are going to be a very sad person. A sad woman. If you don't have time for your children, do you know how many women cry to me on a daily basis because they feel so guilty of not being present with their children, and that guilt lives with them for years, even after they've left the corporate world. So either or is not ideal. And I've seen women that don't have to choose, but you cannot get that sweet spot if you don't believe that it is possible for you. If you don't think that there's no way, AB, I can thrive as an executive in the corporate world, enjoying the work that I do while still having time for my family or my own personal life, then you will not have it. You will not. So again, I take this back because the reasons why we do what we do many times is because of fear. And I've seen this happen, you guys. I've seen where exactly what the woman feared comes to pass. I'm not going to come here and say, oh, it's all bells and whistles. I've actually seen it where the woman, she pretty much just lashed out, and people just kind of sidelined her, and they didn't want to collaborate with her, they didn't want to work with her and stuff like that. Now somebody will point that to me and say, AB, this is exactly what I fear. This is exactly why I cannot speak up, or I cannot even think about asking for accommodations or things that would make it easier for me to do my job. This is what I fear. And the worst part about this fear, AB, is that because I'm a woman, now they're going to think that other women are incapable, and I don't want to be the one to put women in that light, especially because women has worked so hard to be able to have all of these rights to thrive in the workplace. So there's that burden too as well. And there's also that shame of, I'm supposed to do this. Like, I am this big executive or big manager in this organization. I'm supposed to be capable of carrying everything that's thrown at me. I'm supposed to do this. So if I ask for accommodation, that means that I'm admitting defeat. And that's going to make me look weak. So whether that's true or not is irrelevant, but I cannot do that because I don't want to look like someone who is weak. And then people feel they cannot trust me to hold my own. And then my team that I'm guiding cannot rely on me. So these are the reasons, AB, why I don't feel comfortable asking for accommodations or flexibility, or even thinking about a way that is possible for me to balance my life without me actually quitting. The situation I just narrated for you guys, these are words that women have told me. And this is not something you can say publicly. I'm able to say it because of the work that I do. But I understand that this is not something you can tell people. And the danger of living like that, you guys, it's because your health, your physical health, I haven't even gone into emotional, psychological, spiritual, I haven't even talked about. Your physical health will decline and continue to decline until it either takes your life or you are living like someone who has no life on earth. So you are so physically ill that you're pretty much good as dead. Yes. Because when you're living like that, you don't even have the mental strength to even have this perception of mind over matter. You don't even have the emotional strength to be able to cope with difficult challenges because physically you're not well. And so your body's fighting to save your life first. And there's no space to be able to develop that mentally unless, of course, you're working with someone that can help you do that. But most people who are in that shoes, they're not even thinking that far. They usually get there when they're like, there's literally nowhere else to move. How do I know all this? I've been there. So I say this to say that if there is you, there is a middle spot. But the first thing that you have to understand is you have worked hard to be where you are. You deserve to enjoy that success. You have taken the time. You have earned the right to enjoy everything that comes with being a senior level person in your industry. If you feel like you have to give it up just because you cannot find that middle ground to find balance, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's fair to you. And I also don't think that's fair to the world, because there's a reason you're where you are. You're doing something good that's helping others. And if you take that away, now we're going to have to find someone else to fill that spot, and they may not be like you, and nobody's winning. Nobody's winning. Okay? So what do you do? What do you do? First things first is pause. I mean this. Because if you're in that phase, you are in a place where you feel like everything is a threat. So you feel like you're being chased by a lion. You guys, my battery is literally 10%. Like literally 10%. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, let me just quickly round up the video before my phone dies. Pause. Take a deep breath. And then just understand, first of all, that there is a middle ground. You don't have to quit if you don't want to, especially if you have responsibilities. Like, if you're going to leave on the streets, you cannot just quit. Unless you want to live in shelters. But if you don't want to do that, then you cannot quit. If you have bills to pay, you have kids that you're taking care of and stuff like that. So there's a middle ground. The second step is, what do you want? Like, literally, what do you want? AB, I want to have balance. It's not specific enough. Balance in what? Like, what do you actually want? I need you to sit down with yourself. What do I want? Do you want to stop feeling pain if you're in pain? Do you want to stop feeling stress? Do you want to be able to have honest conversations with your senior level or whoever you're reporting to? Do you want less responsibilities? How do you want that? You need to get specific and crystal clear on what you want first. Don't worry about the how. AB, the organization that I work for, the culture is toxic. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We cannot change the corporate environment, but we can change ourselves. And when we start to change ourselves, our reality starts to change. So get crystal clear. What do you want? And start to outline it. Be clear. Okay, AB, I want to improve my health. How? AB, I want to be able to sleep better. That's a good goal. I want that. Okay, when do you want that? Be clear about that too. AB, I want to be able to sleep better in the next 1 month. If you cannot sleep, 1 month is too far. I'll be honest with you. But stuff like that. Get crystal clear. And then the next part will be, okay, this is what I want. How do I go about getting what I want? Okay? And if you're looking for help, before I even go into that, the first thing that I would say is oftentimes when you have slowed down enough to be able to actually now articulate what it is that you want, you're on the journey to healing. Because you can only do that when you start feeling safe enough with you that your body can slow down and trigger your relaxed state so you can actually start to think and become much more creative and tap into that part of you that knows what you want. So congratulations if you're able to do that exercise. You have successfully slowed down your pace and triggered yourself out of a stressful state. Okay? And then the next step is the how. And if you're looking for help with this is the work that I do with women like you, okay? So I will hold your hand and we are going to create a specific way for you to start getting the things that you want. But you need to do that part to slow down first so that you can also know whether you actually want help or not. Because when you get there, then the next level, if you're looking for that help, that's where I can come in and hold your hand, and then we'll get you to that place where you don't feel like you have to throw away your 20 years of career just because you have no space to breathe and you feel like there's no other way out. There's always a way out. And I've worked with a lot of women who have gotten out of this place, especially those that don't want to give up their career, especially those are the ones that I'm talking to. Okay? A final note, you guys, I think I have like 5%. What was the final thing that I wanted to say? I think I said what I wanted to say. But oh yes, if you guys have any questions, of course, feel free to put them in the comments. I don't like rushing, so if the video goes off, you guys know why. I'm just checking here to make sure I went through all my points. But other than that, ladies, thank you for joining me. I had to come talk about that article. It really, really got me thinking. I'm like, no, if everybody deserves to have what they want, especially if you have that desire. So other than that, ladies, oh, one more thing. If you learned something from this video or learned something from the training, please put your key takeaways, because that's what I'm going to use to start creating more stuff like this, so that I'm creating things that are relevant to you guys and I'm not just coming here to talk to myself, okay? So if you learned something, please put your key takeaway, even if it's a word or two, and I'll use that in my creation or content creation process to can bring more relevancy to you guys. But other than that, enjoy the rest of the week, and I will see you next week. Bye. Okay. Interesting. I am not able to end the live. Oh, there it is.